and welcome back to Bros in a Landfill, the only podcast that does anime episodes kind of when we feel like it, kind of doesn't make sense when we do them or put them up. They're just sometime within an anime season. But hey, we're figuring it out as we go. We'll probably have different rules next time. Who gives a fuck? I'm Trybien, and I'm here with my good anime pal, Lunchbillion.
Hey, remember to subscribe, and we'll put out more content like this at some point in the future, maybe.
Just subscribe and keep up to date. Follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord. I sometimes put anime takes on the Discord channel if you want to see my early opinions of stuff. Ooh. But hey, that's up to you. Leave a comment down below saying that you joined the Discord channel if you joined the Discord channel, and I'll give it a thumbs up on both the podcast channel and my personal account.
Oh, that's a fucking steal, dude. That's a bargain.
Yeah, you'll get 2 thumbs up.
Crazy to not take that up.
Yeah. So
2
fucking
likes.
we watch anime. We watch anime like all the time. Fucking Lunch is like a My Hero Academia and nerd, and now he's getting into JoJo, but we're not talking about JoJo today. Get that out of your head now. Yeah, that'll be a future episode. But yeah, so anime winter 2020. It's 2020. God damn it. And I'll also do some follow up on the shows from 2019 that I've finished from the spring season. But we're starting off with 2020. Those are the new shows. That's what you're interested in. Let's get going. Fucking hell, My Hero Academia. That's the show that Lunch watches too. So
that's right.
I'll let Lunch take the reins for My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. Okay. All right. So I'm a big fan of My Hero Academia. Well, I'm a fan of My Hero Academia. I kind of fell off with season 3. I mean, I watched it, but I was bummed out about how it started going. I thought that the plot was kind of moving too fast. A lot of it was hinging on characters that hadn't been built up properly. It was very melodramatic, and I don't know. I had a lot of problems with it. But thankfully, I think the new season is doing a lot better, and is a lot more consistently well written. It sets up its characters. It uses all of its characters, and I don't know. I think the drama feels a bit more earned. I mean, it's a hard balance, I think, because anime is an art form that's about extremes a lot of the time. It's about what and no, and it's like that's like the 2 emotional states in an anime. It's an art form where like someone says something embarrassing and so someone else falls upside down, and it's like normal. So like getting the balance right for it to be funny and endearing instead of like making your brain melt out of your skull and face holes is difficult, but I think they got a lot closer this time. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think.
Yeah, My Hero Academia for me has always been a show about like that's been hit or miss for me. Watching this season, I can definitely say one of the primary reasons why I've always had this feeling is I've never liked Deku as a character or a protagonist.
No,
and this season has given me multiple episodes where Deku wasn't the main focus, and those are like some of my favorite episodes of the show. And this is probably the first season that I've consistently liked multiple episodes, not just like one-off scenes and whatnot.
Right. I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from. I was talking to Dizzy about this earlier, and I can get people not being super into him because he's a bit one note. He's a bit plain. He doesn't seem to have that much personality or depth outside of like his main character struggle. Like, as much as I like this show better than Naruto, I think Naruto is a way better protagonist in terms of like why we care about him and him having his own interesting opinions. Like it's not like Deku really ever says something that surprises you or makes you think. He's kind of he's like a dog or something. I like dogs. Why did I say that? But I mean, I like Deku. I think he's fine as a protagonist, but that's about it. So like,
well, he's not unlikable, but he's not entirely interesting. And the arcs that follow him, or the episodes that follow him, kind of all center around this great struggle of him trying to balance the power he puts out with the damage he's doing to his body, which does lead to a really cool like final fight in the first arc of the season.
Yeah, that was a great payoff. I think that's a satisfying use of that concept.
Yeah, but I think where Deku really gets me is like it becomes apparent how uninteresting he is when you have time without him on screen. The episodes with Kirishima
Yeah,
were
he's actually great in
though
this season.
I would have loved to have a show with Kirishima as the protagonist instead. Like, he has so much personality, he has so much drive. Like he's got a really interesting quirk. And like I wasn't expecting to have these episodes. Like when I say interesting quirk, it's like it creates these interesting scenarios where not only it's about him overpowering his opponents, but it's also about durability and how how many hits he can take.
Yeah, well, there's a sort of a mental aspect to what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, like part of it is like how much he believes he can. Well, I mean, I guess it's a bit like just exercise in general, or it's like there's how much your body can do, and then there's how much you can mentally withstand in order to keep putting out your best. It's actually it's surprising how entertaining they make his action scenes, because his power is very basic, but like they tie it into like I don't know his personality and his struggle, and so it works.
Well, and I think, I think that what really sells Kirishima for me is the fundamental difference between Deku's and Kirishima's backstory, where Deku's backstory is someone who's always wanted to be a hero, didn't have a quirk, which I kind of have a little theory that he does have a quirk, but it's not observable through any normal means.
Oh shit!
And
Landfill theory coming.
But but Deku only is where he is because he inspired Mike Guy. Whoa, fuck! No, All Might to give him.
Don't you worry, Midori. I'll train you up real good.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Okay, but yeah, well, yes, Deku had to work a lot to be able to control the quirk. The quirk was something that was given to him kind of on a whim by the person he looks up to.
I like Midori's backstory. I think that
don't.
I'm not saying that you don't like it, but I think
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that I don't like it or I don't think it's bad, but I think it's the backstory. Okay, the backstory itself is serviceable upon itself, and it's fine. I think where my issue comes more so is how it informs his character arc, as opposed to like if you were looking at someone like Kirishima. Kirishima is someone who had an ability, but never thought it was a strong ability or it was a good ability. He never thought he had the ability to become a hero. And through the circumstances of his life, that he changed, like he had to change his mindset. And he changed his mindset and he was like, no, I'm going to push, I'm going to become a hero. His character development happened a bit more naturally, where with Deku, it was more just, it was more based. I don't know exactly how to.
Okay,
word
here's. I'll try and follow my own stream of consciousness to get at the heart of this matter.
Yeah,
that was a very confident statement. Look, so Kirishima, he's a bit more like relatable, I think, because like Midoriya is someone who like had a dream that was like basically impossible for any normal person in his shoes, and then he basically won the lottery, and it's like it's not like he learned how to become a hero by being like Batman and finding some other creative way around it. It can feel like it was just kind of given to him. Why wasn't any other kid given this power? And it's like it's easy for him to be like, I believe in myself, I'm doing my best because he happened to be cross paths with All Might. That being said, he did earn All Might's approval, and like when given the opportunity, he ran at it. Like even before he knew there was anything on the table, for him, he like tried to save Bakugo. The thing that I like about him is that like, sure, he got really lucky, but he was ready to take that opportunity and do his best with it. Like how many freak chance opportunities that could change your life do you think a lot of us are missing out on because we're not ready to see them or notice them or give it our all when it's there because we think it's unrealistic. So I really like that about Midoriya, even though he did get lucky. But Kirishima was like, he really was like he didn't have some unique negative aspect to him exactly, where he was with nothing. The problem was that he was just so plain, and he didn't really have anything Like he didn't have any particular edge or weakness, and it was only like, and he didn't get that opportunity that like, oh, the person you look up to most happened to recognize you and motivate you. He had to figure out everything just by himself, and find his own strength by being like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my best. Like there were no shortcuts on his path, and you know, that is really cool, and I can understand finding that a way more compelling backstory and character.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing about Midoriya is that at the start of the show, what was compelling about him and what set him out as different from the rest, everybody else, was his lack of ability.
Yeah, he was an underdog before, and he hasn't been an underdog in forever.
Yeah, and that was part early on. That was partly what made him a very compelling person to watch. But over the course of 2 seasons, he has gone from being underdog to basically being top of the class.
Yeah, he is definitively an overdog at this point. He's Goku. Yeah. He's like, man, I wish we were as cool as Midoriya. You know, he was the nerd before, just trying his best.
Which I think on one hand is fine if you're kind of always the overdog. If the show starts off with the overdog, if you're the overdog and you continue, kind of like Saitama is like the overdog the entire bit of the show. Like,
yeah, well, but I mean, that's like his shtick. Like the stuff that made Midoriya's character interesting was based on him being an underdog. So once he stops being an underdog, there's not really. He feels a bit incomplete, I guess.
Well, and going back to the earned, not earned, like on Midoriya earning it, like, well, convincing All Might in that one scene where he stepped up, like, I don't think that did enough in regards to being a satisfying reason for All Might to, like, I could see that being like All Might getting Midoriya getting All Might's attention, and Midoriya, as things go on, showing All Might that he deserves it or earns it. But,
well, I mean, he like gets swole and after, like,
I know.
I mean, like, after he gets the opportunity, like, he works his ass off to the point he gets given the most ridiculous workout schedule ever, and then he fucks himself up because he was trying to go harder from it and is trying to work out in the middle of class. I mean, I don't know.
I just feel like in a show with so many interesting characters, like a lot of Midoriya's arc was so front loaded.
Yes. No, he doesn't, like, I mean, he goes through like self-doubt and stuff and like, oh, I've got to get better and stuff, but most of his interesting character stuff, like, there's not that much dynamic or surprising happening with him. He's like I said, I think he's one note, and I totally agree with you that this season is better for spending more time with other characters that have their own things going on.
Well, like, and even like starting off with this new season with the whole makeup, like the makeup trading arc with the people who failed the license exam.
Yeah,
like that was probably one of the most interesting. Like, I've never been a big fan of Bakugo. Just I don't care much for that type. But like seeing all those characters, like dealing with a bunch of shitty kids, and like doing everything they can to win them over, like that's a unique problem that only could exist in this world, other than just, oh, villains exist. Let's go and take down whatever villain is coming and doing stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, because I don't know, like, you look at superpowers and you think, like, well, this is all a vehicle for people to fight each other, but it's like you could do all kinds of shit with superpowers, you know? Like, it makes it a bit more organically just part of the world and not like the excuse for everyone to be fighting each other. Like, I mean, there's got to be a lot of professions that aren't being a hero that use quirks, but you don't really hear about it.
Yeah. Anyway, like, this is like, we could probably keep talking about Hero Academia all day. There's other shows to get through.
Yeah, let's move on.
I just want to end off my fan theory about Deku's real quirk is I think Deku has the ability to change fate.
Oh, I see. So it's a passive skill.
it's a passive skill that can only be observed by someone who can see the future.
That makes sense. I like that. Oh,
I mean, it even makes sense.
I like your theory. I don't like it as a story idea because it makes it so if you're worrying about if he'd earn things, it seems like he earned them even less because Jesus just is like, I'm on your side.
But I think that actually comes back to my whole problem. It feels like Deku's just kind of given everything that he wants. Like, even if he tries for it, like anything that really matters, it feels like he gets what he wants. Or he just wills himself to.
Yeah, it would be good if he just lost occasionally, you know? Because like
the time he lost in the sports festival, like that was compelling.
Yeah.
But like at that point, he didn't even know if he wanted to win. So
well, I mean, okay, you're never gonna get me to criticize the sports festival. I think it's the best part of the whole show.
No.
And like,
no, I agree. But my point was that like going back into like if he can alter fate or whatever, like related to him, like of course the time he's not sure if he wants to win is the time that he wouldn't win.
I guess. The thing is like, actually, okay, I know we need to move on from this show soon. We're talking about an earlier season, but one of the things I really like about that battle is that it's one of the few times that Midoriya has any extra, like, he makes a decision that isn't about being the best or, like, saving the world or something. It's like, he makes a benevolent decision for his friend and it's not like it's a new character trait, but it's like a new manifestation of it where it's like, my friend is hurting and suffering and this is what a hero does. He, like, helps him, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
so
going
good.
back to something else going back to what you said earlier, is like part of the reason why the sports festival was so compelling was because like it was something that was not just beat the villains. This is just something that would happen in this world.
Yeah, well, it's like they're going through their own like emotional journeys, and I think Midoriya works well here because he's a good like foil to Todoroki, who the story is actually about, and like. He's just an example of someone who like believes in himself no matter what, but he has had less reason not to, at least in recent memory.
Well, Todoroki has been probably one of the most interesting characters in the entire show. Watching his arc and shit, like he's cool, bro.
He's just cool. He's pretty.
He's cool and hot.
Yep. Wow. That was pretty good.
I think we should move on. Oh fuck! So
we'll never top that.
Gotta go through all the new anime now. Fuck! I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I think I'll just go down the list of the way things are on my phone. So the first new anime of this season that I'm going to talk about is one that I am already incredibly biased towards. So there's this phone gacha game. It's a spin-off of the Madoka Magica franchise. It's called Magia Record. It's fucking lit. I'm not here to talk about the game. I've talked about the game on cast before. But this season we have a new production from Studio Shaft called Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Side Story Magia Record.
God damn it, anime titles.
Actually, this one's Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Gaiden Magia Record. Fucking hell. So,
okay.
The first thing you need to know about Magia Record is that it's a spinoff. So, but basically all rules still apply. Just you got different characters, different town, different place.
Get all the characters and setting you knew from Madoka Magica.
Madoka Magica characters show up. I don't know how much they're going to show up in the anime. This seems like a pretty straight adaptation with the game with some liberties taken.
Okay.
But anyways, so have you watched Madoka Magica before?
What are these rules of Madoka Magica that remain unbroken in the new series Magia Record?
Okay, so Madoka Magica, I won't spoil it for you because I think you would genuinely like it.
Okay.
But generally speaking, Madoka Magica is a sort of like trippy. I mean, it's a Shaft show. If you've watched anything from Studio Shaft, really cool visuals. Really, Madoka Magica, like, hasn't aged well, especially if you compare it to what they can do with Magia Record.
Okay.
But very, like, it's a magical girl show where they go and they fight witches and labyrinths, and very trippy visuals. Darker. It's by Genner Ibuchi, which if you know anything about him, I've talked about him before on the show. He writes pretty dark stories. Madoka Magica is a pretty dark and moody show with girls who sign contracts to become magical girls.
Oh shit! It's
But
a business arrangement.
Yeah, so it's a business arrangement. So the concept of Magia Record is there's a rumor going around that in this certain town called Kamihama, there's in Kamihama City there's a rumor going around that if magical girls who go to Kamihama City are freed from their fate as magical girls.
Oh.
And so that leads protagonist Iraha to go there because she's looking for her sister that she forgot about. So one of the concepts of Madoka Magica is that to become a magical girl, you sign a contract, and in that contract you get a wish granted, and when that wish is granted, you become a magical girl and you have to fight witches.
Okay.
So Iraha remembers that her wish was to save her little sister, so she's going to the city to go and look for her because of reasons. Oh, it's for that and because of the rumor to see what's going on there.
Okay.
And essentially the show is just a bunch of magical girls fighting witches. There's these new monsters called rumors, and they're pretty fucking awesome. I mean, everything about Madoka Magica is awesome in metal, but that's beside the point. The production value, phenomenal. I'm kind of iffy on the adaptation, but that's mainly because of it. Whenever you adapt a game that has a lot of text in it, you're going to be cutting out stuff.
Sure.
I think it does a lot better than some other stuff, but for me, it seems to be a bit like rushed. But you can't. But that's gonna happen. That might just be because I'm used to playing the games, because the game is a lot more of a slice of life feel to it. So you have like all this dark magical girl stuff going on, but you also have a lot of this like downtime slice of lifetime.
Right, but the anime is a bit more combat heavy and more action.
Yeah, but also it looks fucking amazing. The music is awesome. I think one of the things they did, one of the big changes with the anime is it's very tonally different from the game. So the game has kind of like this bittersweet sadness to it, where the anime has more of this sense of like dread and it's a sadness and dread.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how to word it, but it's good. Like there are some cuts of animation in the anime that are just like breathtaking. I think it was episode 2 or 3 has like a full 2-minute magical girls transforming sequence.
Wait, the transformation takes 2 minutes.
Well, no, they transform like 4 girls in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Like, and they all have like
all
different.
Right. So there's enough girls. Yeah, it's not that inefficient. All right. I was thinking this was like, I mean, it's still faster than Goku can go Super Saiyan 3, but
yeah,
it takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I'll definitely say this: if you're a fan of Madoka Magica, or I mean, if you haven't watched Madoka Magica, go watch it. It's a basically classic. It's a must-watch. It's not perfect. It has issues, but if you're interested in anime at all, it is essentially a must-watch, regardless if you like it or not.
So when is it from? Like what era is this?
2011 is
okay.
Magic. Well,
so
was the original Madoka
it's
Magica.
Not like retro or some shit. It's like
it's not. I mean, it's almost a decade old, so it's almost retro.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess when I think of retro anime, I'm thinking of like
I don't
know, Saint Seiya or something. Shit.
And yeah, I know what you. Retro is a social construct.
I guess so.
Anyways, my personal opinion is if you're interested in playing the game at all, play the game first. It's very free to play friendly. You don't have to really put money into it to get decent girls. You can stock up your summon stuff.
You don't have to put in money to get decent girls.
Well, actually, that's one of the things. Like one of the cool things, like it's got a pity counter, so that if you save up 100 pools, you're guaranteed a 5-star at some point. And the game's been very, very generous handing out free summons recently. But like to get the most out of the game, you don't even need like 4 stars. And even so, they've been slowly making it so you can upgrade certain 2 and 3-star girls up to 5 stars. So
this feels somehow very misogynistic.
I'm sorry. That's gacha games for you. Gacha games are like are all about like stars and whatnot.
Here's
shit.
a
Like
2-star. Here's like that seems like the way Donald Trump probably rates women. You know.
I mean, other gacha games have
only a
like male
3-star.
characters that
she's fine, I guess.
That's because we're talking in the context of a gacha game where all the characters are girls.
Yeah, I know it. It's fucking weird.
They're magical girls. They're barely human. Who cares?
It's okay to own them because they signed the contract.
Anyway,
it does seem like good escapism. I mean, like I can get decent girls without spending a lot of money.
But the one thing that I would say, like, that I really will benefit with Magic Record, the game that is, Magic Record has a really good story, but also, like, one of the things that really makes Magic Record one of my favorite, actually, it is my favorite gacha game, is that the characters are all really endearing and are great, they're cute, they're fun, but they all have, like, deep and complex characters. And granted, this is Madoka Magica. Part of Madoka's Magica's identity is having like these deep, complex characters with her these struggles. Like the characters are the best part of Madoka Magica by far, outside of the production value.
Okay, I was thinking it was just about trippy visuals.
No, it's trippy visuals and sad girls.
Oh, that's a mood. That's an aesthetic.
Yeah, no, Madoka Magica is a mood. Like Madoka Mood. Wow, Madoka Magica is literally aesthetic and mood.
You want to know what I've learned from this conversation? It's that like
what?
I totally understand what 4Kids was doing when they whitewashed all the fucking character names into shit that like English speakers understand. Because like watching you, a big fan of the franchise, who's played the games and watched the animes, fucking trip over like what town they went to and who is who and what the name of the show is.
I know.
Oh
no, that's just me. No, I am terrible. No, I am terrible with names, even like American names and shit.
I'm
like,
sure it would
like,
be easier if they rename one to Joey Wheeler.
No,
you'd remember.
No, okay, Joey Wheeler is a meme name. Like you don't forget Joey Wheeler. that is not up for debate. People's names aren't as simple as Joey Wheeler.
Well, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
You can.
It's
a game. I mean, it's a whatever.
Going back to what you said, I'm actually not a big fan of the franchise. I was pretty okay on like Madoka Magica as a show. Like I thought it was really cool, but it wasn't like struck by it.
Okay.
Magic Record is really good. The characters are really good.
Okay.
And that's something that does translate over to the anime. The characters are just as endearing in the anime. They've captured their charm and shit, and it's great.
Awesome.
Like if you're not interested in playing a gacha game, or you're on the fence, watch like the beginning of the anime or whatever. Watch the anime a bit, or you can watch the full anime. But if you want the good shit, play the game. That's all.
But the gacha, man. I don't want to be thinking about how to get S-rank girls by asking the gods. It's like, don't worry, this god is generous, Brett. This one, like, it only takes advantage of your desire for 5-star girls.
It's very free to play friendly, and you'll eventually get a 5-star. It doesn't matter. I've got a bunch of 5-stars, I've gotten so many 5-stars for free. It's not even funny. Just from like their guaranteed 10x pools or whatever.
Okay.
Well, like guaranteed 5-star. Like as long as like you play the game, you play the story, and you play the events, you'll get enough summons to pull a 5-star eventually.
What kind of game is it outside of the like procuring of?
It's
women?
an RPG.
Like what's the gameplay?
It's an RPG-ish. It's a card-based RPG. So it's if anybody's played Fake Grand Order out there, You get each magical girl comes with 5 attack cards of 3 different types, and they all get thrown into a deck. Like the girls you have on the field, all their cards get thrown into a deck, and then you get them randomly drawn, and you choose 3 of them to attack with each turn.
Okay. All right.
I
think I got you.
Low floor, high ceiling, but Magia Record's probably one of the easier games I've played.
All right. Well, I might give it a go. We'll see.
If you fucking if you play Magia Record, look me up and follow me on Magia Record so you can use all my spicy 5 stars.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just Trybien, Trybien. See, I can't even fucking spell my name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just follow me on Magia Record. Follow me on Magia Records. Shit, we've been here for like half an hour and I'm only did 2 shows. Great.
Yeah, well, the first one was gonna be longer because it was a show I had opinions.
Okay,
about.
let's knock out a short one. There's one I'm called it's called Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun. I think the English title is Toilet Bound Hanako. Which is a terrible name because the whole it's based off this rumor of like this ghost girl that lives in girls' toilets. So saying Toilet Bound Hanako is like an awful English name because it's completely like redundant. But anyways, it's about like the gimmick of this is like it's because it's a rumor about a ghost girl inside a girl's restroom.
Sorry, this is a show about Moaning Myrtle?
Yeah, no, actually, Moaning Myrtle is essentially like a Hanako-kun sort of situation.
Whoa.
But the gimmick with this one is like Hanako is actually a boy in this school. Like this in the school 7 rumors, this Hanako is male.
Okay.
And
how'd he get here?
He died and he was assigned that role.
Okay.
Like people are just like spiritual things are just assigned as rumors. I don't know really the mechanics behind it.
Existence like by like thinking it's true.
Yeah, it's charming. It's really stylish. It's got like a moving manga aesthetic, but given like how like colorful and how thick the outlines are, like you wouldn't expect a lot of animation, but every single shot looks clean.
That's surprising. From a show called Toilet Bound.
Yeah.
Haruko.
Yeah, but so basically, this girl goes to the bathroom to wish upon Hanuko's, so that the guy she likes will like her back. Hanako comes up, he reveals he's a boy. Then antics ensue. Things don't go as planned, and she ends up as his assistant. And then the show basically goes.
An assistant? What is exactly his job? Doesn't he just haunt the room?
Well, he kind of goes around and he takes care of troublesome rumors. So like it's kind of got like that episodic sort of feel of like some rumors are causing trouble and then Hanako goes around and fucking wrecks them and then replaces them with better rumors.
Oh, okay. So is he toilet bound or is he not? Where can he go?
He's not really toilet bound. That's not really toilet bound. Like he can go around all the school. I don't know why it's called toilet bound Hanako. He doesn't.
In that case, he just hangs out there because he feels like it, which is weird.
I know. Like it's just because it's based off. Like, this is Funimation. I don't know if I don't know if Funimation
off of like a thing or like a trope.
Okay, you know what?
Like if he can go wherever he like Moaning Myrtle, right? She can't leave the bathroom. Right?
This might be a God question because God's like a mod on the Funimation server. But I need to know, did Funimation come up with this name, or was this the Japanese that forced Funimation to use this name? Because I want to know who I need to be mad at for this. Okay?
Okay. I mean, all right. So there's this ghost, probably based on some kind of folklore from real life, that is in the girls' bathroom. But the spin on it this time is that it's a guy because hijinks. And
yeah,
in this world, rumors create phenomena, him being one of them. And so he goes around trying to destroy the rumors that are bad. I mean, what are the other rumors?
Well, one of them is like kidnapping people that step on stairs. The other ones are like there's another.
Okay.
There's another one that
marry a rat.
Yeah, well, so this one's like you step in a crack, you get sliced up in half.
Whoa, this school's fucking hardcore.
And then there was the one from last week was like there was this I'm sure you've heard one of those rumors where it's like, oh, if you confess in this X place, you'll be true love.
Okay.
There's a tree that was doing that for literally everybody under there. So like the entire school was filled with couples.
Oh, so does he go and like cut down the tree, or does he tell everyone?
Basically.
Okay.
No, he cuts down the tree and it reverts everybody back to normal because it wasn't like natural love. Like it was like the tree was forcing the tree was forcing feelings that didn't exist.
I mean, what's the difference though?
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the show. That's a funny charming.
Problem. Like, oh no, there's so much love. We need to stop this.
Well, I think there's a difference between there being so much love and brainwashing people to be in love.
I guess.
Like,
I mean,
it's a complex issue. I don't know if I don't know if I have enough PhDs to talk about it.
If I knew about it. I'm not even gonna open this can of worms.
Yeah.
Or rather, I'm gonna slide the lid back on.
Yeah. Let's just move on to the next one. I know I messaged you about this one, but the next show is called Keep Your Hands Off the Motion Pictures Club, which is sort of like the darling of the season. I'm sure you've all seen it
or whatever.
Yeah. This is Azoken.
I would like to watch this, but I'm waiting for there to be more of it because it sounds like it would be up my alley, and I don't want to have to wait weekly.
Yeah. So I'll give it the quick rundown. It's three girls want to make it. Well, I mean, two girls want to make anime. One girl wants to profit off them making anime, so they come together and make a club to make anime. Hijinks ensue. The whole school is against them. They have to convince the school to fucking let them make anime. And what really sets the show apart from others is that it seems like a love letter to people who are into animation, specifically animators. There's like when they're making the anime, there's like their first anime, there's a lot of like detail showing like the process and their creative process and like the different tools and like the struggles and the deadlines, and like it only gets done because their money concerned friend is like, you're not gonna make the deadline if you don't cut some things and shit. She keeps things. But no, the one thing that makes the show stand out is that it takes these like sequences from these like. Okay, so the main character, she is very imaginatory. She kind of sees the world in a different way.
Okay.
And whenever she's concepting something, like she like goes into like these like full on like imagination sequences, and those are fully animated and they're trippy as hell.
Oh, more trippy animation. I'm down.
Yeah, no, like, Izoken is like, I mean, it's I think is it Masaki Yuasa, a fucking guy who does like trippy animation. I can't remember if this is Masaki Yuasa. I'm looking at this right fucking now. No, fucking this doesn't have what I need. Fuck, shit. Because I don't know if I'm mixing it up with another. There's like fucking too many like I don't know Japanese names. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, audience. I'm embarrassing. I'm awful. Fucking staff. Yeah, it's Masaki Yuasa. I was right. Fucking hell. Yeah, he did Devilman Crybaby. He did a lot of other like interesting looking anime. Anyways, it's very well animated. It's very imaginative. It's like even like just the setting is like, even though it's like a high school and like a town, the setting's very visually interesting.
Okay.
And
that's surprising because most schools in anime look exactly the same.
Well, yeah. Well, the town itself is like kind of like, it's like a river. Like it's like a river port town with a bunch of different like the buildings are all like, I don't know how to describe it. You just have to say it for yourself.
Okay.
Personally, my opinion, it's not my cup of tea, but I don't relate to the characters that much, which I can say. Like, I'm not really into animating. That's not like it doesn't have as much character substance for me, but
I think I would like it a lot just from the concept. Like,
oh yeah, no. This is
if you're an animator,
you would
like,
love it.
It's a very it's a very niche field. Most people don't know what you're talking about, or even if you're just like, even if you're just like an artist in general.
No,
but
I am
really
absolutely convinced. Yeah, I am absolutely convinced you'd love it.
There's a show called it's not anime, it's a live action show, but it's Japanese, called Blue Blazes or something, and it's about like it's like about when like a couple like big figures in the anime industry, like the guy who made Evangelion and stuff, were like in animation or in school, and it's just really fucking funny because it's just so much like relatable stuff in there. Like there's this great fucking scene where the main guy's like ranting about how he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a manga because it'll be easy, but like it takes place in school, and for every time anything happens, I have to draw fucking 10 chairs and 10 desks, and the perspective has to make sense. It's like, it's fucking good. So I feel like I would like to show if it's anything like Blue Blazes.
Yeah, no. This seems like something that'd be more fun to talk with you after the fact, like after you've watched it.
Sure.
I don't have much to add to it because I'm not its audience. I'm not the type of person who really appreciate it that much.
Right, and I also don't want to know too much about it because I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll come back
like
to this.
But like even like I would say even without me like really caring too much about like what related to the characters and whatnot, it still impresses me a lot just with what it does.
Right.
And there are still some very cool and very interesting scenes to watch.
Awesome.
Like, yeah. But moving on, speaking of more trippy anime, there's a new anime this season called Pet.
Okay. Seems like not a very Googleable title.
Yeah. Yes, it's not. So Pet is an anime about people with psychic powers who go inside people's heads and kind of like can brainwash them, can mind fuck them, or and yeah. So in the world of the show, people have these things called peaks and valleys. Peaks are like your happiest moments. Your valleys are your weakest moments. And by exploring these people's peaks and valleys, this criminal organization figures out how to basically fuck with people to their own profit. Whether it means like removing people from the picture, getting people to be like pawns of them, or as the show uses, there's this specific term pet refers to making someone feel so indebted to you that they basically fall in love with the person and they're like basically a pet.
Okay.
So, the way that the show exposure is like, if you show someone your peak, like if you choose to show someone your peak or you let someone see your peak and they are a vulnerable person, they will be so indebted to you that they'll basically become your pet.
So like you show them like your greatest moment?
Yeah, you share your greatest moment with them.
Right, and they don't have anything, or maybe so they're
they don't understand. So yeah. So, and you see this a lot with like older psychics like recruiting younger psychics by making the younger psychics their pets, and then those pets make their own pets in the future.
Right. Well, I guess it would be easier if you're older because you've got more life experience.
Well, yeah, and exactly. And you're a lot of these people you're recruiting are kids. You're recruiting them while they're kids and they're still like malleable.
Oh man, this show's fucked up. I mean,
oh no, it is fucked
obviously.
up. No, but speaking about the fucked up is what really sets it apart is like I'm saying set it apart a lot, but fitting into the theme of trippy shows this season.
Okay.
The scenes where they do like the psychic shit and they do the hypnosis, like and they go inside people's heads.
Yeah, that sounds like
sort of
some crazy shit.
It's absolutely amazing. Like you'll see all this like trippy visual like imagery, like this distortions, like when you and a lot of visual metaphors and whatnot, and you'll see like these characters' pasts and these events as they remember them, and they're like kind of creepy and fucked up, or like beautiful or whatever.
It sounds a little bit like this game I played. What was it called? That fucking cyberpunk game where you're like jacking the people's memories and it's like kind of like a horror thing.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about. We talked about that on the games cast thing, like on the games review.
Sounds a bit like that, but but more trippy and less terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's specifically revolving around this like government organization that's like not this government, like this
Observer
evil organization. This evil organization, like this criminal organization that's using these psychics to their own benefit. So, it's on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, this might be something that's more fun to watch as a binge rather than week by week, just because I'd say that it doesn't really fully show its cards in the first episode.
Right.
I guess going further into like kind of trippy shows that deals with people's heads. There's a show this season called ID Invaded, which kind of deals in a similar premise to what I'd say to I, the Somnium Files, where you're delving into people's subconsciousness, but it does it in a very high concept sci-fi sort of way, where you have this police task force that has like technology that can scan and pick up people's intents to kill.
This sounds like kind of like Minority Report or something.
Yeah,
the pre-crime thing.
Yeah, well, it's specifically with like they're using it specifically to catch serial killers. So what they do is like they'll go to like the crime scenes of serial killers, like uncaught serial killers. They'll find the intent to kill, like the particles or whatever, and then they have this thing called and then they use this thing at they use this like weird like device thing that's not really explained back at their headquarters that allows agents to go in they use those particles to find inside this well the serial killer's subconscious world, and then they send one of their agents down in there who has like the only condition to go down there and there is you have to have murdered before. So they send a murderer who's an agent into like this subconscious world to identify who the serial killer is.
Ooh, okay. Man, anime's fucking crazy, dude. Like all these shows, like, I mean, I guess this is not a unique observation at all, but it's funny how there's so much anime, and like so much of it is like crazy supernatural or science fiction stuff. I guess that's kind of makes sense because that's something you can do in animation easily. Well, you can't really in live action. It'll be really annoying, but or yeah.
But that's not the only like that's only like scratching the surface of like how like weird and imaginative it is. I will say that the show does take a bit to get going. Like I wasn't too convinced. Like after watching the first 2 episodes, I wasn't really convinced that I wanted to continue watching.
Right.
But as the show went on, it continued to get more and more interesting.
Okay.
And like there's actually like one of the characters there's this female lead who becomes captured by the first serial killer that the show's following. She is an absolute delight to watch. Like her whole character arc is really fascinating, and watching her like
is she a
over like the
5-star?
course of the she's a 6-star.
Oh snap.
She also weirdly falls under the legal lolly, where she looks like a little girl, but she's like also an adult. So that's.
I mean,
she's like
some people look younger than they are, you know.
I know. She's also hardcore as fuck. So, I would definitely say that.
Can you send me an image of this character?
Yes.
Okay.
Fucking hell! Give me half a minute.
Half a minute, all right. I just want to know what we're dealing with.
You know what? I am completely fucking this whole thing up. But no. I would say it's infinitely less fucked up than something like Pet is. But also this is more of a procedural crime drama where you have like different where you have different villains that they're going after each season, well, each episode, but there's kind of like an overarching plot.
Mm-hmm.
Let me shoot Honda Machi over to you.
All right, what are we looking at here? Hmm. I mean, yeah, she does look like a young girl. The backpack doesn't help.
Yeah, no, the backpack doesn't help.
That makes her look like she goes to school.
Yeah, no, but
it's
I would say what
it's not like there aren't adults who look childish like this. I know some in real life. Whether or not that how relevant that is to this weird anime trend, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah,
could be worse.
I'd definitely say if you gave the first episode or two a watch and you didn't continue on, I'd say it definitely gets more interesting. The subconscious worlds are really interesting. One of the cool concepts is, so because of the agents going into are murderers, that means they have their own subconscious worlds that they could fall into.
Right.
If they could actually find their way into there. So the mechanism the safety mechanism for that is to wipe the people's memories while they're going into it. So even if they end up in their own well, they won't recognize it as their own well.
Right. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
So every time that someone gets injected into the well, it's like they don't know who they are. They just know that they're a detective who's supposed to solve a case, and they don't even know that they're inside a well. They're just kind of wake up there and have to piece things together.
I mean, that sounds like a little scary, actually. Like, what's the tone of the show?
It's pretty like dark, and I mean it's about serial killers and shit.
Right.
Like one of the episodes has one of the main characters, I'd say the main detective character who goes into the wells, like after catching one of the serial killers, he basically kind of just talks the captured serial killer into killing himself.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, this show's fucking hardcore.
Oh no, it is a very hardcore show.
I mean, looking at the visuals from what I can see here, I'm a little surprised at how dark it is.
Yeah. I will say the production isn't really the strongest, but I wouldn't say that's the reason to watch it. It's written. I guess here's an example of just the hardcoreness. The show is named. The show is written by a person who wrote a book called. I think it's called something on the lines of drill a hole in my head, or something like that.
Okay, that's a fucking title there, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And that's the entire first case. The serial killer of the first case is based off the title of the book that the author wrote. So you're dealing with a serial killer who drills holes in people's heads.
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fucking ID Invaded. I would definitely say it's worth checking out. Let's hop into the next show.
How many shows have we got left, and how much time do we have left?
We should probably finish things up soon. I'll just blast out the last show. I got 2 shows left from this season that I'll blast out.
Blast them out,
Kyoko Siriri, which is also known as Inspector. It's edgy Gegege no Kidoro in the sense of there's a bunch of ghosts and yokai and whatnot, but it's also it's kind of an edgy light novel show, but it's also really fun. The ghosts and yokai all have great fun personalities. The main character girl, Kotoko, she's she's a lot of fun. I'm not it. I don't know exactly what makes her as cool and fun as she is, but she's kind of a bratty, sophisticated teen.
Okay.
Who's also kind of she. I don't know exactly how to put it. I don't know if it's necessarily a show for you, Lunch, but is to the same extent I'm not entirely sold on the show, but I can't help but smile when I watch it. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's definitely fun.
Okay. Well,
it's basically a solve yokai problem. It's solve ghost problems or problems between ghosts and yokai. You got to really overpower.
Really fucking thing in Japan, aren't they?
They are.
The ghost stuff, psychic stuff, spiritual, supernatural. I feel like I've seen that in a lot of places.
I mean, it's
Japanese stuff.
and it's dark. It's dark and edgy. Gegege no Kitaro, where Gegege no Kitaro is a bit more. I say it's more focused towards a more family friendly audience, but it has a lot of social commentary. This is edgy teen kind of power fantasy, but like the main guy isn't really the protagonist you're following. So I don't know how I would say how much in terms of power fantasy, because it's also pretty like dark and edgy and shit. Like the main character, like in the first episode, gets like his arm like torn off by like a ghost, and then he just like grows it back.
What? How does he grow his arm back?
Because ghost powers.
Okay.
Like I don't want to like spoil the reason because it's pretty hardcore.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. From that description, I'm not gonna watch this show.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like he ate the flesh of 2 yokai when he was younger. So like now he's immortal basically.
Wow.
He's like super strong and immortal.
So he ate people, which gave him the ability to regrow his arm.
Yeah, basically. Well, he ate ghost people.
Ghost people aren't real people.
Okay, that's fair.
That's okay.
And then the other show from the season I'm watching this one with my wife. It's fucking Richard. Case Files of Richardson. Like it's a fucking jeweler. Like it's a show about a fucking jewelry shop thing where it's you got this guy who like sells jewelry, but there's like always like a case around the jewelry in regards to the customers and how the jewels reflect the people's stuff. It's okay. Like the first episode is actually, I would say, is rather good.
Okay.
But it kind of focuses on this whole theming of don't judge a book. It does that whole don't judge a book by its cover. Like people are more than skin deep, and it uses this juxtaposition of the jewelry being just like the jewelry reflecting the insides of the people.
Right.
So what the show will consistently do is like it'll start the show off by just showing off this jewelry, but then it'll go into all this depth and meaning of what the jewelry actually is that you would never have guessed just by looking at the jewelry. And then vice versa, like there's a lot of time, like a lot of the drama around the show is about making base assumptions off of other people and learning that those base assumptions are wrong.
Okay. So I'm finding it. That's kind of the theming is kind of weird. Fuck. Sorry, my brain is like.
I know my brain's a bit.
defragged.
Oh no, my brain is absolutely destroyed.
Okay, so there's this thing with jewels, and people are kind of categorized with jewels, kind of like horoscopes or something. But the moral of the story is they're actually not that much like the shiny rocks after all.
Kind of. I don't. It's clumsily written. I'll give it that. It's the first episode is rather strong because it relates specifically to the drama of the main character and how he starts working for Richard. But I guess but it deals with a lot of the main thing that the show wants you to know is don't just make assumptions of somebody just because of they look a certain way or they are a certain way or act a certain way or did a certain thing or
Don't
under
judge
some
a
sort of
book by
label
its
like
cover. It's a very
exactly.
There's a Thomas the Tank Engine song called "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover." You know.
Yeah.
I wonder if it pretty much conveys the same information.
Yeah. I mean, I think it does it through a bit more of an adult light and a bit. There's a bit more social comment.
Probably.
Yeah, and there's a bit more modern day social commentary. It deals a bit of
social
racism
media,
and
right?
like not really social media, but like kind of Japanese problems in the sense of how Japanese is a very like is dealing with for like has like a I'm trying to. This is why I don't fucking podcast when I'm fucking tired. Okay. Which is why I shouldn't podcast at all.
We still love you.
No. Yeah, I know.
Take it. We're so close.
The foreigner like it's Japan has being an isolationist country historically has issues with foreigners and like how it treats foreigners. So Richard being a foreigner, a lot of people like they won't even like it's not even like the case of like, oh, you're a bad foreigner. There's a lot of people that are like, it's a lot of that like kind of weird subtle racism like you might have seen like you might see in something like Get Out, where it's like showing Richard as a character takes issue with people like showing like even like an act of kindness or an act of like trying to understand based off of like or trying to be like, oh yes, you're blah, like, oh, it's like, oh cool, you're this. It's like, no, that's kind of still insensitive to draw attention to people's differences or to make an assumption based off of people's differences, even if you're trying to be nice or trying to be kind. And the way that it kind of does this is the main character is an incredibly nice, likable. He's super like self-conscious, super like helpful. Like he just wants to be a nice, helpful person. Right. But because of that, he tries very. It's not that he tries very hard. I think it just comes natural to him, where he's just very understanding, but not in a respectful way.
Okay.
Where he's like, oh yes,
he's a bit blunt.
This person must have. Yeah, like this person like must have things really hard, or this person's really interesting. There's a part in episode 2 where like a foreigner comes in, and he's like, oh, that person must be really hot in that garb, and it's like that's like real, and then like Richard's like, that's really offensive to say about that person. It's like it's not offensive. It's like it's insensitive to the person's culture.
Right. Okay.
Right. It's like even being like curious and kind about being curious or worrying or trying to be understanding about other cultures or other people or other races or sexualities or whatever can still be insensitive because you're treating them differently and not just letting them live how they want to live.
It's difficult, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
people gotta like people have to, I guess, sort of navigate these differences if they want to understand each other, but no one wants to be othered either. I mean, personally, like, I don't have any. There's not too much crazy about me, but like, the way I look puts a question mark in people's heads because I'm like ethnically a bit vague and my accent isn't like everyone else here. And like, when I was working, at Subway or whatever, like the amount of questions I got daily about like, oh, so where are you from? Was just like, it was really annoying. It's because it makes me feel like they just want to know, like, learn about me and like maybe learn something new. But for me, it's like I just live here and I just want to feel like I'm naturally a part of it.
Yeah.
So I guess I can understand where that story conflict is coming from.
Yeah, and I just wish that it was told a bit better. I wonder if this is because this is based off a manga. I wonder if it's like the mangaka's first time writing something, or whatever. Like this feels like it could have done with a couple more drafts or a bit more.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like, the ideas are kind of cool, but like it's just put together a bit haphazardly.
Yeah. Anyways, we should move on to the stuff I finished last season. I might not talk about everything. I'll just blast through, because I talked about stuff already. Favorite show from last season, hands down, was fucking Bookworm. Like that for me, that's like a must watch. It's
you may have to remind me what Bookworm is.
A sentence as a Bookworm is Bookworm girl gets isekai'd into another world after dying, so like she wants to make books because there's like she's
way in the past, right?
She's too. Yeah, she's like, well, it's more of a fantasy world, I'd say.
Okay.
It's like a past fantasy world, but like she's in a poor family who can't afford books, so she wants to make books, and the whole season's like about her like learning about the world, getting money, getting stronger because she's in a very sickly body, and working with a local boy, and to make paper, to make books out of whatever she can. That's like she's trying to learn the language. Invent things, and she brings her knowledge from the previous world to make things in this world, which earns her like money and respect.
Right.
And it's incredibly charming, but it's also very like heartfelt, and it doesn't feel like isekai bullshit. It's like this feels like a real person who just really loved books and is just trying her best to get what she wants and she has a goal. She takes the initiative, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go save the world. It's, I want to make fucking books. I want to write books. I want to have books. I want to research.
More grounded goal.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even though like it's a fantasy world with like some magic and shit, it's like it's never really the focus. The focus is, I want to make fucking books.
I like that as like a fantasy world, but like it just happens to be where the story takes place more than it's like the focus, or it's not about fucking learning how to shoot Hadoukens. It's like, I mean, that's all cool, but I want to write a story.
Well, I don't think you even learned that it's really a fantasy world until a bit like later in the season too. It's not like early on. It just seems like you're in like an old like medieval sort of town. It's only later that you learn that magic's involved, but it's not like super heavy magic involved either.
Okay,
at this point.
So how's this new, I guess, new season or new content since the last time you talked about it?
It just continues being good. She just continued to grow, learn. There's drama related to her knowledge of the previous worlds, and the fact that she kind of wakes up in the body of someone that was who already existed there.
Oh, it's like she's sort of taken someone's place, and so there's gonna be some conflict there. Wait, so the Lost World, so like the world she came from, is that it's relevant to the story?
Not well. The knowledge she brings from it is.
Okay.
So like she'll make things like at the start of the show she makes shampoo out of like oil and stuff.
I do like one thing that I don't really like about the idea of isekais is how like the previous world seems to not matter at all. I like the idea that she's an outsider actually matters. Yeah.
Well, and something like Konosuba did something similar, but that was more like, oh yes, I have this idea, so I can get rich quick. This is more like she's getting the money and she's getting the connections so she can make her books and so she can fulfill her goal, not just so that she can like LOL comedy antics, gotta make it in this world and survive with my asshole friends. Because that's what Konosuba is, gotta survive with my asshole friends.
That actually sounds like an anime could be called that. Gotta survive with my asshole friends.
Yep. I agree. But no, Bookworm is something that I could absolutely recommend to anybody who likes more grounded, down to earth. It's a bit slice of life, but it takes itself seriously. It's actually funny. The main characters in the story are all kids, but it's more mature than basically all the isekais that are teenagers and adults.
I kind of like the sound of the show. It's one of the more interesting ones that you've talked about, where like it's about something a bit more humble, even though it is an isekai. And it seems like it holds its quality pretty good over a long period of time because he's still talking about how good it is. I could.
I am absolutely looking forward to season 2 when it comes out.
And like I like, I mean, slice of life stuff or whatever. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of it, but sometimes I watch it, and it's nice. I like the idea of watching an anime that isn't about guys fighting each other.
I mean, you can only watch so many episodes of Dragon Ball and Naruto until you've seen every anime fight ever.
Yeah, I guess so. Or like they have to really like try to impress you, I think.
Yeah.
They're mostly pretty cookie
cutter. Anyways, I'm gonna go from like this positive shit, and I'm gonna just like bring the mood down. Babylon was absolutely awful as it finished out. Like, so I remember when I talked about Babylon last time, I was giving praise about its production value. Like, well, it's like its directing, and throughout the show, it still deals with really interesting ideas, and it's still got some really well directed scenes and really cool. Like, there's a scene later in the season where you have world leaders pondering about the meaning of good and evil while like they're floating through like space and like the evolution of history and humanity.
Whoa.
And it's just very like, it's very inventive directing. But at the end of, when I say inventive, it's like, it's very like creative. Like at the end of the day, like this was a scene where like people were just sitting down talking, but they did something interesting with it.
Right.
Similar to like the interrogation scene where it was just someone sitting down talking, but they did something interesting with it.
It's cool when anime actually tries to direct something interesting out of dialogue scenes, because I think most shows use it as like the part where they don't have to put in a lot of effort and they can save the budget and resources. So like having something that actually look good and be interesting sounds great.
And I could say that the shows might be worth watching just for its directing, and also like it's really edgy. It's like really like it's got it's a show inherently about suicide, and there's a lot of cool things they do with that concept. But at the end of the day, like the answer to the entire show is some basic level philosophical bullshit that is contradicted in the first half of the show.
Okay. I was almost interested in this, man. And now it seems like a slightly pretentious mess.
Oh, it is an incredibly... So the entire show is this debate about if suicide is... Like if suicide's good or bad. Like if we should be if we should be allowed if it should be okay. The premise of the show, like at its core, is should suicide be legal?
I mean, that seems like a dumb fucking question. Legal? How do you punish someone who committed suicide?
And how do you punish someone who failed in a suicide attempt?
Yeah, well, like that seems like a pretty fucking irresponsible idea. That'll make them want to die less.
Yeah.
So people who like are in that place, they need support, not punishment.
Yeah. And it's like, I dig the idea of talking about the government's role in suicide. If there's any times where suicide is the just thing to do. One of the examples that shows is one of the politicians that like who's pushing for this is his son's got a heart condition and his heart's going to fail at some point. So rather than trying to find a heart for him, he wants to end his own life to give his son his heart.
Okay.
And that's not something that's legally viable, but that's a separate question of if suicide should be legal.
Well, I guess there's all kinds of reasons someone might want to die. And that, yeah. What am I trying to say? I guess it's just a topic that you have to approach well. And it almost, from what you're describing, it almost seems like a question asked for shock value, as opposed to
it's well, given the answer it gives to the question at the end, it definitely feels like shock was the only thing that the show cared about at all.
I feel like if you're gonna write a show like this, I feel like you should have been suicidal in the past or have been close to someone who was close or did. Because I think it's not a topic that should be approached with like, ooh, like wouldn't this be edgy? It's like
because at the end of the show, the answer that gives is no, suicide is wrong. You shouldn't commit suicide. Like that's the conclusion it gives at the end of the show. Suicide is bad. Continuing to live is good. That's the answer
usually. But what if you like? I mean, does it touch on euthanasia and stuff? Like,
I don't. Well, actually, like that's the funny thing is that and this is why I was talking about like that, like the show like contradicts itself halfway through. Is the reason it gives for suicide being bad is that good can only good is defined by continuing.
Oh. Okay.
But by using the show's own logic halfway through, first off, continuing is a very subjective sort of thing. You can only view something in terms of continuance and not continuance from a retrospective perspective. So
sure.
in the case, so like ending one person's life might continue on more people's lives. So if ending that one person's life good? If that's the case, then they should be allowed to commit suicide. But if end is always bad, then you can never let anybody die. So with the halfway through the show, like I was telling you about the example of like the father who wanted to end his life to give his son his heart. It's like by the show's own logic, that is a good moral choice.
Right, but
because
it's continuing
his son,
the kid's life.
Yeah, continuing the kid's life, who has more time to continue and could potentially have do more to continue the world.
I think it's pretty asinine to treat should someone kill themselves if they're depressed versus should someone sacrifice their life to save their kid. Considering those as the same question is ludicrous. They're completely different scenarios. It's like asking if food tastes good. It's like maybe.
And it's a shame because there are things about the show really like there's like the directing, as I said, like the third quarter of like the third quarter. Wow, there's only the back third of the show introduces a character that is probably one of my favorite anime characters. He's the president of the United States, but his whole thing is that like he's known as the thinker. Like he'll think and ponder a question a lot. So he's put in this position of thinking about if suicide's good or bad as like the leader of the most powerful country in the world.
Yes.
And like, so you get to see his whole thought process coming to the answer. And this guy, being the thinker, his answer is suicide is bad because it's ending.
Okay.
Also, this is a president like of the United States who plays MMOs.
Whoa. Okay.
No, but see this.
How does he have time to play MMOs?
Okay, I will say this president, the president in the show is like legitimate like nerd power fantasy. He's an MMO player who marries an incredibly hot wife and becomes the president of the United States, and is respected around the world as like the best president.
That's amazing and really stupid.
And this came from a Japanese author, so like that is.
I don't know. This show seems like It seems to have an overly simplistic dialogue in it for how intense of a subject matter it is.
Yeah, it's like there are scenes of the show that I can highly recommend, but I'd almost rather just like cut out all the bullshit and just get to the interest, like get like to the cool shit.
Okay.
Like as a cool, shocking thriller, the show does some really cool stuff.
All right.
Unfortunately, that's not even the majority of the show.
Well, that's a bummer. So, okay. It seems like that about sums it up. So what's next? What other shows? Do we have any other shows left?
I mean, they're just the other ones are just the ones continuing. Like Sword Art Online is Sword Art Online. It's fun, edgy.
That seems like that show basically never changes.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember from the last anime episode, I told you that this was the season where Kirito's in a coma, and in a lot of ways it's actually better because like it's focusing on like the heroine of this season, Alice, who's actually an interesting character for what it's worth. But then again, it also introduces like probably like the worst villain it could have. Like the villain's motivation, I kid you not, is that he wants to go inside this like under the guise of like he's working for like the U.S. government to hijack like this Japanese private company's plan to create a perfect AI that they can use for weapons. So the U.S. government sends like this militia group in to steal the data, which I think is fine on its own. That works as itself. No, we gotta have a super edgy, fucked up villain who killed like his childhood friend, learned he has the ability to eat souls, and now wants to eat the soul of the perfect AI.
What?
And this is a show that has had no real supernatural shit.
Yeah, that's
in it,
bizarre.
Like, at
I
all.
thought this was a show where like the fantasy element of it was all like on a computer, so it was like the sci-fi thing going, but the real world's the real world. Now you're telling me that people eat souls, and that
no, it's just this one guy.
Okay, so this guy eats souls.
It's just
but souls exist.
This one guy eats souls, and when he eats the soul, he experiences their whole life.
What the? And he wants to. And does an AI get a soul?
Oh, yeah, these are basically implied to be souls. It's like when he goes in, he eats some like AI souls in there, and like he gets the same experience.
Okay. I like that concept that AIs have souls. But this seems like a
Yeah.
crazy thing to just drop into fucking Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I know. Like that was the moment that SAO3 jumped the shark for me, and it's already had some like real. As I said, this is the. I've said it 100 times. This is the show that like has the most badass scene of cutting down a tree I've ever seen. Like
Huh.
like the first season of SAO3, like the big finale of like the first bit of it is cutting down a fucking tree, and it's fucking amazing.
All right. Can you just
Like-
send me the cutting down a tree scene and then?
I probably will. I mean, it has a lot of build up to it that like that Rick really sells it, but still, it's dumb, big, stupid bullshit.
Awesome.
Let's see. Going back to the other shows, fucking Shokugeki no Soma. It's. I didn't like this arc. It was really badly paced. I barely remember what happened. It's just more Food War stuff with shit. Like
That show sounds like it went downhill. Like it started off pretty cool.
it went downhill. Yeah.
And then never
Yeah, it's
recovered.
the production value went downhill. It lost its pacing. It's a mess. I just want to get back to reading the manga and just leave it from there.
Bummer.
And then Dr. Stone ended in the spring season.
How was it in the end?
I wasn't completely sold on this second arc that they did. I really liked the first arc. The second arc was a lot of it had a lot of cool characters, and I liked the characters of it, but it turned into a lot of just invent the next thing. We gotta invent the next thing. Gotta invent the next thing.
Do you think I could watch the first storyline and leave it
No,
there?
I think you can
happy?
watch the whole thing and like it. I think you can watch the whole thing, be happy. I'm looking forward to the next one because the next arc is the Stone Wars arc, where like the two major factions.
But I'm saying, would it
actually,
be a
like, start.
satisfying ending if I just watched the first arc?
No,
Okay. That's
no,
a
because
bummer.
the first arc kind of leads into like the next arc.
Damn it. Stupid connected storylines that actually
Yeah.
create a bigger world.
Well, because the first arc sets up the gambit of the whole like conflict of the second and
Okay.
onward arcs.
Got it.
Like the first arc is kind of just like the prologue.
Hmm.
But the second arc had a lot of dumb bullshit, of course. There was one scene that was like really like it almost seemed like too contrived as a convenient thing that happened. Within like the lore of the story, but
Right.
I won't harp on too much about that. That's spoiler territory.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm a little interested. But
It might be more fun like not watching it week to week. I don't know.
I did like the trailer of it. I saw that one time.
Yeah,
So-
I will say this: like the second arc of Dr. Stone, I could see really working as a week to week manga you're reading in a magazine full of manga. I can see why it was so popular in like in Shonen Jump.
Right.
But I think on its own, when you have to go and like load it up, sit there for 20 minutes rather than reading it at your own pace, it doesn't hold up as well as I would think it would reading it. We're like, oh,
Okay.
cool, new science facts with these fun characters every week. But that might take you 5 to 10 minutes to read a chapter at most.
Right.
Like depending on your reading speed and how much you're taking in the details and the art and whatnot. Where if you're sitting there for 20 minutes with an opening and an ending with
Yeah, just
some
not everything needs to be in the anime format, you know. Some
Yeah,
things
I-
are
I-
weird to adapt, and like I feel like there are often problems in animes because of them trying to fit it into the 20-minute episode
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and then there's a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of advancements they make. There's a lot of plot that happens, but it's kind of stuck within this formula of needing to invent the next thing. Like every problem is solved by inventing a new thing.
Right. So,
So-
like something that's too much of a formula can get pretty boring.
Yeah. And I think that was fine with the first arc because you didn't have so many characters and it was a bit more the stakes felt a lot higher in the first arc, where the second arc is a lot of it's a big preparation arc for the next arc that's going to come, but this arc was also the majority of the show that was released so far. So you spend like I'm gonna throw an out number out there. They spent like 15 to 20 episodes preparing for the next arc.
Man, there are like entire shows that are 15 and 20 episodes where it's just a completely satisfying thing.
Yeah. Where like now that I've sat through this, I'm looking forward to seeing what the next arc has to offer, but I was kind of disappointed, but as I said, I could see this really working as like your weekly dosage of manga within a magazine of other manga you're reading, and standing out because of its characters and premise. I don't know if I could have read a volume of this manga though. Like if I like having it all condensed in like volumes, I feel like that could get like boring really fast.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay. I'm probably gonna stay away from this show then, or this
Yeah, I don't-
franchise.
I would still say like the first few episodes are still like really interesting to
Yeah, well,
watch.
that'll just be annoying to get invested in, man. I only got so much like
Yeah, no.
time to.
Yeah, no.
Go. I only
Yeah,
kinda
watch
take
Sword
on
Art.
so many, like anime.
Watch Sword Art
and
Online
manga type
instead.
things.
Watch Sword Art Online instead.
No.
I'm fucking with you.
I
You gotta watch the
no.
fucking guy eat the fucking artificial souls.
Just send me the part where they cut down a tree.
Okay. Dizzy, like, put the part where they cut down the tree right here, right now. And this has been Bros in a Landfill, signing off.